Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking with local fighter Nic Delgado-Johnson about his upcoming fight this weekend. Nic, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So you all pumped for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready. I mean, this is the last week of just cutting a little bit of weight and just, recovering and just getting the mind right. And yeah, this is like the final run. So
It's the final countdown.
Final countdown.
What's your pump up music? What do you go to? Right now?
Man, I like a lot of rap music, obviously, like old school rap, like Dr. Dre, South Park Mexican. I'm actually walking out to a South Park Mexican song, and it just really gets me pumped up, just like that gritty and just
Very cool. So you're fighting out of the Pit North, right? Mm-hmm. And so tell me, let's take a step back here. What got you into this? Have you always been into fighting? I mean, you grew up here, you were born here, and all of a sudden you just like to fight at school. I mean, how did this happen? How did this transition?
Man, I don't know. Like me, just younger. Like me and my friends, obviously, all boys. They would get together and wrestle around and fight around. But eventually, it kind of turned into like me and my boys, like older teen years. We just, threw on some boxing gloves and we started just like pretending to train. We didn't really know what we were doing, but like just kind of going through the ropes. And then it kind of just kept progressing. And like eventually we got some mats, we got some bags. We started like inviting other boys over and kind of just getting into like, just training with each other and sparring with each other, beating the crap out of each other.
But you were just doing boxing. You're just doing normal, like...
We kind of mixed it up. Like, we'd get some wrestlers in, so we'd wrestle around, and then we'd, like, get some stand-up guys in, and we'd box around, and then, like, eventually it just, like, everyone started falling off, obviously, like, started getting older, adult stuff. And then it was, like, down to me and my one buddy. And then I think at that time, we were probably, like, 19-ish, and we decided to go to the Pit. And this was a long, I took a break. We actually went to the Pit. Maybe we went for like 8 months, and then I took a break. I just stopped going. And then I had a kid, and then at that point, something in my mind clicked where I was like, oh, I really enjoyed like training and just fighting. And like, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it now, or I know like I'm not going to get back into it. I'm going to like get all the adult responsibilities.
Adult responsibilities.
I was like, I got to just like, go for it.
Right.
So yeah, I went for it. I started training, and then I never stopped since then. Like the adult responsibilities came. I had my first kid and kept training. Eventually, when he was old enough, which was like 2, he was still in diapers. He started training. He's been training. Yeah, my son.
Oh, really?
My son Felix. He's been training at the Pit since he was in diapers. So like
wow.
He's been there for like 8 or 9 years now, and now he's like a really like solid kids martial artist. So it's pretty cool.
Kidding.
Like
now you do the Muay Thai. Muay Thai. That's your skill, or what do you call that? That your expertise, not your expertise, but your
Muay Thai
fighting style.
Yeah, Muay Thai is like more it's just stand up. It's like a really brutal style of stand up. Like you kind of just stand there and you just shot for shot. Almost. You get to use elbows, you get to use knees, obviously punches, kicks. I started with MMA. Like I was really into like the MMA, like jiu-jitsu, mixing it all up together. And I still do. I still love like MMA. Like obviously over at the Pit, we all train MMA. I'm like the only Muay Thai fighter there. So like when I'm not training for a Muay Thai fight, I definitely still dabble in the MMA, the wrestling, the takedowns, and adding all that in. But just like for me, I just like really enjoy standing up, just stand up fighting, and not taking it to the ground and just keeping it on the feet and just I feel like I'm like an artist out there. So that's like my art form is on the feet, striking, being creative, and just using someone else as my canvas.
So what was your inspiration from the time that you guys were, like you said, you're fighting in the garage, backyard, whatever, you go to the Pit, did you have an inspiration? Did anybody influence you to like move forward, to like literally push you off the seat and say, get going, let's do this?
Yeah, well, my main influence into like the stand-up style was Anderson Silva. He was a professional mixed martial artist, and his style was like Muay Thai, and he would he was just so creative and his stand-up was like just beautiful, and I always really like enjoyed his stand-up. And then yeah, just like being in the gym, just getting out there with different guys and feeling different guys out there and getting using my skills against them. I always felt really comfortable standing up like with whoever it was. And yeah, my coach Castle Williams, he's always like praised my stand up and like just kind of just put it in my head that wow, you're pretty good at stand up, and you can do some work in this style of fighting. So
you said that this is your 8th fight?
Yeah.
Like a legitimate fight?
Yeah.
So when did you start?
My first competition was 2018, and that was a boxing match. And that's when I found out, I was like, wow, like I really enjoy kicking, because I wasn't able to kick in boxing, and it didn't go my way. I fought bell to bell, but I didn't get my hand raised in my first fight, and yeah.
Was it a little discouraging? Were you like, oh man, I thought I had that?
It was discouraging just in the fact that we train kicking and punching, and like I fought someone who only trains boxing, which is like their sport, and like it was just, I was just like, oh man, like I really wish I would have did like kickboxing instead, because then I could have used all my weapons that I've trained to have, because it really made it hard, like just being limited to only my hands. Mm-hmm. So that was a little discouraging. And then I started, I guess COVID hit a little bit shortly after that. And so like a lot of the competitions fell off, and finally the IKF, they started coming back with like point kickboxing matches, which I started doing. I've done quite a few of those. But yeah, that's like kind of where I really started gaining momentum, is through that organization with the IKF.
So let me understand this. So it's a lot like, and I'll use this wrestling as a reference. So other than obviously a TKO or something like that, that's the ultimate, point grab. But there's a lot of point kicks, mm-hmm. moves, maybe. Am I on the right path for that, for like your point competitions?
Yeah, they have like I guess their criteria is like, like you get like the leg kicks are worth like a lot of points. You get the body kicks, head kicks, worth different points in the judges' eyes. Not really sure like their point system exactly, but yeah, it's kind of like chopping different parts of the body, and then obviously, yeah, the TKO is like the finish, which I love to get.
Yeah,
it feels great to like go out there in the first round and just like finish it quick, and just like, oh yes, like.
So have you obviously you've gotten that in one of your eight competitions?
Yeah, so I've had 2 head kick knockouts, and then 1 TKO to the body with a knee to the liver, and that was pretty satisfying as well, even though it wasn't to the head. It's satisfying to see somebody fall to the ground and like just like not able to breathe, and drool coming out of their mouth, and they're just like,
that's vicious, bro.
Incapacitated. And, yeah.
When you fight, do you fight with anger, or do you fight with like you're focused on the job itself? You know what I'm saying? And then after the fight, it's like, cool, I'm mellow. Are you still jacked? What's going through your mind during those things?
Yeah, it's so weird. Like before the fight, I'm like in this weird state where I'm like not afraid, but I'm like just very like, oh man, this is it, this is real, And then like as it gets closer and closer, my mind starts shifting into this weird like lizard brain where like I'm almost not present minded, but I'm like so focused that yeah, just like all emotion goes away, like the fear goes away. There's no anger. Definitely, I've never fought angry. It's just almost just like a clear mind where it's just like everything's clear in my mind and all it knows is kick, punch, whatever, and it goes out there and my body just takes over, and like those are the best performances when like I go out there and like my body just like takes over, like it just like a lizard brain goes out there. There's like there's no thoughts, no like emotions.
You're just watching from atop.
Yeah,
watching
exactly.
it all unfold.
Like I literally almost can't remember. Like if I didn't have video footage of my fights, like I probably wouldn't remember very much. Like it almost just is not there. So it's like I'm glad I get video because like yeah, I get to go back and like be like, oh yeah, that happened. But other than that, like it's really like if I try and recall it in my mind, it's like really hard to pull a memory. Like,
you know, it's funny that you said that because Mike Tyson said that with Jake Paul, that he doesn't remember the fight.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's
because
just,
if you get so focused and so centered in what you're doing, you know, like you said, you know, you don't remember any of it.
like obviously I'll remember like short clips and blips of like
Yeah.
something, or like maybe I got like hit and like then my mind comes and like, oh God. There's been a couple times where I got like hit and like I obviously felt it and I was like, oh God, I don't want that to happen again. But then like and then you like go back to that lizard mind and like so it's like very like spotted memory.
Now, have you ever been knocked out?
No,
No.
No.
Oh, that's good.
knock on wood, no.
But have you been punched or kicked or something hard enough to?
Not too bad. Like there's been like only a couple times like I can remember where I was just like remember, like I said, I remember thinking like, oh God, that was like, I don't want to get hit like that again. But never like wobbled or like gotten dizzy or
like phased you up or
like,
anything like
never
that?
like where I was like felt like I was about to be finished or anything.
So Nick, you are you're a father. You also coach down at the pit, right?
Yeah.
So so tell me a little bit about your outside of your fighting. What's your life like outside of fighting?
Well, outside of fighting, obviously we live in a small town, so I'm a very like nature-oriented person. I really like to just be out in nature. I like hunting. I like fishing. I like doing all this stuff outside, and just when I'm not fighting, I'm usually outside hiking around somewhere, or even my job. Like I was talking to you earlier, it's called Outside Now. It's a nature connection group for children. So I work with like the age group of 7 to 12, and we take them out on the land, like all over the county on different hikes. We could be at El Churro Park one week. We might be at like Stenner Creek, Irish Hills, just all over the place. We'll take them.
Really?
We'll teach them different like just nature skills, or we'll just it could be anything. But it's really fun, and it's really like grounding, and it's really peaceful work. Like it gives me a chance to kind of forget about like this type of noise where it's like, you got a fight coming up, and where you're like kind of like you might get in your head a little bit throughout the day. But here you can just ground out in nature, and it's a really good experience.
Tell me again, what's the name of that you work for?
It's called Outside Now.
Outside Now, and it's San Luis Obispo County.
Yeah, and it's like I guess you can call it a nature school. But yeah, we take a lot of homeschool. We get a lot of homeschool kids. We do get some public school kids from time to time. Obviously, it's programmed throughout the week, so it's more homeschool based kids.
Interesting. I never heard of that, but I mean it sounds awesome. It sounds like what parent wouldn't want their kid to
it's a great organization.
be involved with something like that.
Both my kids are in it. I have 3 kids. All 3 of them are in it.
So they do this in lieu of going to public school.
Yeah, it's like an extracurricular type thing, but they like my kids go 2 times a week. Some kids go 3, some kids go 1. But yeah, so it's like kind of just extracurricular type stuff.
And what's the age groups?
Well, it ranges. My age, the group I work with is 7 to 12, but they take kids as young as like 3 and 4.
Interesting. I'll just
and it
look
goes
into
all the
them.
way up to teens as well. So.
And so, what does the kids think about? Do they know that you're a fighter? You got a fight coming up?
It's quite funny to when I tell, like when the kids first found, like when I had a fight and I like showed them, like I had my fight in Mexico and I showed them the video, all the boys were just like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And like now they're just like, we'll have like little like wrestling matches out in nature now, and like sometimes I'll see them like pretend fighting each other and like doing like so they're like really like, the boys definitely like, it's really cool actually to like see that it sparked like this interest, and maybe like one day it will spark them to join a martial arts gym and maybe pursue training or fighting. So it's like, yeah, they dig it. They love it.
That's cool.
I think it's so cool.
Well, I mean, you're their inspiration, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, to where they see you, being the adult, but also you're also living this, this world of MMA, that they see on TV weekends and this and that and stuff like that. So you're like a superhero.
Yeah,
basically,
I guess.
I mean, that's I think that's pretty cool, man. That's a great job for one, because you love being outside, and you get the kids. I mean, the kids probably help you ground too and stay unfocused about what's going on, because you got the kids going this and that and talking. So you're probably just having a blast with just the kids, and so it keeps your mind off of what's ahead of you, which is this weekend.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing more valuable than being able to be just grounded in the present moment, and they really help with that, because it's easy to like to let your mind start going and start thinking of the future, and then it's like, you don't need to be thinking that far ahead. Like, you just need to be thinking about here and now, and it really helps with like any like anxieties that might linger or come up. And because it does happen, like when you have this countdown of like 8 weeks, like, oh, you're fighting in 8 weeks, every now and then you like, that little voice in your head will like come up and just kind of,
what are you doing?
Like remind you, like, oh, you got this coming up, like but like how I like to think about it is like, I shouldn't even need to worry about that until like I'm backstage about to walk out, because that's the only time that it's gonna matter. Like anything else, overthinking it before that is just pointless, and it just kind of just takes energy away from you.
Have you ever reflected and just kind of asked yourself, going, man, getting older, I mean, what am I doing? Do you ever do that, or you're just like full steam ahead?
Yeah, I mean, the past, maybe year, 2 years, I've had that thought, like, oh, you're getting a little older, like, but my mindset is like, do it now, get it, just do as much as you can now. So like my plan is to like, at least for the next like 2-3 years, just get as many fights in as I can, and then reassess. Well,
what's the long-term goal? I mean, is like your professional card, is that an aspiration?
Long-term goal, not really. Like, I just do it for the love of it. I love training so much. Like even when I don't fight, I'm like training for the last like 10 years, I've just been nonstop training, like no breaks. Like, I just love it so much, and like I just love to test my skills, and I don't really have like a goal of becoming like UFC fighter or one championship fighter. I guess my goal is just to like gain as much experience as I can and as much knowledge as I can of just like fighting and technique. I mean, I think one day I would love to like open a gym, have my own gym, Muay Thai style gym. Like further down the road. Obviously, like I said, all my kids train. I would love to have like a gym that my kids help me with when they're older too, and just have like my wife, obviously, Noelle, she trains as well. So I think that's like kind of been a goal of mine, is to have like just a small gym, family oriented, family run.
Now, what about your son? Does he? I mean, he's obviously been training since he was in diapers. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he only knows
he's
right?
He's really good, and I don't think he even realizes how, like, he's done competitions as well.
Is he fighting this weekend too?
No, he's not fighting this weekend. He's a little more into jiu-jitsu right now. He's done jiu-jitsu competitions. He's done 2 so far, and he's won gold both times. So he's like he's really good on the ground. He's very creative too. He's kind of like me, where I'm creative stand-up. He's very creative on the ground. So we're like a little bit opposites there. Although his striking has really been coming along now too. You know how it is when you're like getting into that like teenage year, you're kind of like a little clunky in your body, and like he's growing, so it's taken him a little bit of time to find his footing and like the striking, just because I think he's just like can be a little clunky at times, just because he's a big kid and like just learning how to move his body. But after this past year, I've really seen like major improvement in his striking. So, man,
now does he get into the? I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not just going in training. I mean, there's a lot more to this whole package that we're talking about. It's not just going to on the mats. I mean, you have the outside, the mind focus, the nutrition. You have all these other, aspects of the fight game.
Yeah.
Does he participate in all that kind of stuff too? Does he like watch what he's eating? Does he, is he the typical 11-year-old type stuff?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's at the nutrition part quite yet. He definitely is into fitness, so he's definitely knows like the work he has to put in to be like obviously through his jiu-jitsu competitions, when he was doing those, he took extra time to run, and he did eat healthier, drink more water. So he understands it completely, even after seeing like me and Noel compete, all the guys at the pit he's been watching compete since he was in diapers. He really looks up to like Octavio and Hunter. He really enjoys training with them. So yeah, I think I don't really.
So there might be a future in his. Like, I mean, you say that you're not necessarily the MMA or UFC is like your long-term goal, but I mean, for him, it sounds like it could happen.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, I don't really push him to shoot for those goals. I kind of just let him do his own thing, and he's always chosen martial arts. Right now, he's really into like extreme scootering, so he's like flipping through the air, and like he's like a wild kid. Like, so
Yeah.
he obviously has that wildness in him, and that like.
Well, you got to if you like
courage.
fighting.
Yeah, he obviously has that courage. So I could see him if he chose to like take that path as he got a little older. Obviously, let him be a kid now and not try to push him into that right away. But I could definitely see him like being like a force if he chooses that path.
That's awesome. So, Nick, tell me about the experience in Mexico. You had a fight in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
That was.
This was in.
That was your last fight.
Yeah, this last November. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy experience. Noelle, my wife, she does combat sports photography, the Visual Knockout. So she got hired on to fly down and capture the event, and I went with her because usually I'll help her when I can, like when we have babysitters for the kids, obviously, but I'll help her with video. So I went down to help her out with like doing videography for the fight. It was weird. Like I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh, if
So you weren't going down there to fight.
I was not going down there to fight. I was not like trained like in a full training camp. But like I was preparing myself just because like I know people fall out, and like it was always like a dream of mine, a goal of mine to like fight in Mexico. I was like, oh, it'd be so sick to be able to fight in Mexico one of these times. So I was like, oh, just in the back of my mind, I was thinking like, oh.
So you started prepping just in case.
Just a little bit, yeah, a little bit in my mind. I was like kind of manifesting it. I was just like, oh, if somebody falls off, maybe I'll jump in, or maybe not. I don't know. I was kind of just like playing with the idea in my head. So yeah, we traveled down there. We left on a Thursday. We drove all night long, got to Tijuana, sat in the airport for the rest of the night, didn't take off till the next day. So we were up already like a whole 24 hours.
Where did you go to?
So we flew out to Puerto Escondido in Oaxaca.
Okay.
So yeah, we arrived, got to the hotel, and right when we got to the hotel, the promoter, he's like, oh, we had a fight fall out and like this and that. And I was like, oh, just playing around, like, oh, what weight? He's all 160. And I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh God, that's me. And like, before I even like, could even really think about it, I was just like, I'm 160. And I was like, he's all, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And he's all, well, you want to fight? I was like, sure. And then the guy was right there. So we were like, yeah, me and the guy that I fought, we were like, which actually backtrack a little bit. We landed in Puerto Escondido. We got on a bus to go to the airport. The hotel. And I had this hat on that says Muay Thai. And this guy, like in the back of the bus, saw my hat, and he like started talking to me. He's like, oh, So you train Muay Thai? I was like, yeah. And we kind of like started shooting the shit, talking, and like he's like, oh yeah, I'm here to watch the fights, this and that. I'm like, oh, we're here to
Oh,
work
so
the
he wasn't
fight.
fighting either.
He wasn't fighting, and then, but fast forward to the hotel. This is the guy I was talking. That's the guy that I was gonna fight. Like his opponent dropped out, so he actually went thinking like, oh, his opponent dropped out and he wasn't gonna get a fight, so he just came to. So we would already been talking and like making friends. Like,
Oh, wow.
and then yeah, when we got to the hotel, the guy was like, yeah, this is your opponent, and we're like, we looked at each other and we're just like, oh, and we were already talking, like being friendly. All right, let's do it. So we like both agreed.
Huh.
We went into the hotel room, checked our weight. We were both pretty much there. I didn't have any of my gear, so I was like, that was like my bad. I should have brought my gear. So I had to go. I like literally spent the whole day walking around Puerto Escondido looking for a store where I can buy a mouthpiece and a cup. I probably walked like 5 miles, store to store, looking for like, because there are all these like little like small market stores where they're not really like, it's not like a big five or like a Walmart you can go to.
Right.
But yeah, so eventually I found one store. They had a mouthpiece. I couldn't find a cup anywhere. So I had to end up borrowing a cup from some other guy that was like there fighting too. So we got to share cups. So that was fun.
Great story.
But yeah, we ended up.
So you ended up going there. She's doing the photography stuff, and you end up fighting just at the 160. This guy, did you win?
I didn't win. It was a really good fight. I got a really bad laceration on my shin, like in the first round. Not that this like even detoured me at all. Like I looked down and I saw it, and I didn't give a shit. I didn't care at all. I was like, yeah. They asked me if I wanted to keep fighting. I said, yeah. I didn't really process the cut until after the fight. The cut was it was like about that long, and it was so split open that I could see my bone inside, and like it was a really bad cut. But yeah, no, we fought it out. We warred it up, and yeah, this guy, his name was Abel, the freight train Laura. I had no info on him at all before taking the fight. After the fight, I found out he was a professional fighter.
Hence the freight train.
After I found out he had like more than double the amount of fights that I had.
Was he same age or roundabout?
Yeah, we're about the same age, so
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. He's an older guy, so he had a lot of experience. He had a lot more experience than me, which for me, losing to him wasn't a big deal, because like after I realized that, wow, we just went toe to toe with this guy with like triple your experience.
Well, and you didn't train for it.
Professional fighter, professional Muay Thai fighter. Yeah, and it's just like, and I definitely hurt him a few times. I definitely hurt him more than he hurt me. Like I saw a couple times I hit him to the liver pretty good. After watching the footage, I got some really good like shots, like check hooks on him. But with his experience, he was able to like kind of control in the later rounds, kind of control the scene, and like with his clinching, and he kind of had some good tricks up his sleeve that I definitely learned from him. And
What was the experience like there fighting in that environment versus the environment that you're used to, I guess, stateside? I mean, obviously stateside, they would probably stop the fight if you had a big gash,
Yeah.
I would assume, right?
Yeah, they could have very well. Yeah, it was a really bad cut, but yeah, it was a really different experience, especially fighting 24-hour notice. Like the nerves never really came. I might have got a couple that night, like falling asleep, but there was no buildup, so there's no 8 weeks to like worry about anything. Like I was just there, took the fight, fought, and then it was done. So like it was really like it was actually more of a like. I felt calmer. Like I felt
More of a zen.
not so heavy, not any
Right.
like heavy pressure on, like no pressure at all, because like I knew nobody there. I had no like nobody there watching me, nobody there, like almost nobody, like people didn't really know that I fought until afterwards. So no like extra pressure.
You think they'll call you down for
Oh, I hope
any more fights that you can prepare for?
I heard,
Maybe a rematch?
Yeah, I heard that they're looking into announce their next show. So I'm like, for sure trying to get down there and do it again, because it was such a cool experience, like ringside or ring on the beach, like literally, like we warmed up out in the back, like in the sand. The weather amazing, like it was a little hot, it was humid, obviously down closer to the equator, but I love the heat. So yeah, it was like warm all day, warm all night. Just the vibes were so cool, like just being outside, like in the starlight with the ocean right behind you. Very traditional, like Muay Thai gym there. Yeah, like if like Thailand is where Muay Thai comes from, so a lot of people go to Thailand to train like traditional Muay Thai. But if you weren't to go to Thailand, that would be the gym to go to down in Mexico. The coach, I think his name's Eddie Farrell. He's a pro Muay Thai fighter, and he's like really big in the scene of Muay Thai, and he trains all his guys traditionally, and yeah, it was just a real cool experience, just being out there and experiencing it, just the way it was, almost like being in Thailand. Like, not that I've been there, but that's kind of the vibe that they're recreating there.
Wow, that does sound like a great experience.
Yeah.
So Nic, you are now your fighting is Friday or Saturday, so you're Tuesday. A few more days. You're coming into fight night. What does the next few days look like for you?
The next few days, mostly just resting. I've been pushing my body to the limits for the last 7 weeks. So, I mean, pushing this last week is kind of futile. Like, you're not going to get any better in this last week. So the best game plan is to rest that last week. Turning on the engine every now and then, getting the heart rate up, just quick bursts, and then just kind of chilling. So that would be like via sprints. Like yesterday I did hill sprints, but short, for like 10 minutes. And then I was done, rested the rest of the day.
So you're not doing any sparring or anything like that?
No more sparring. My last sparring day was last week, so no more sparring, just kind of just keeping the engine revved and then recovering, hydrating, water loading. That way I can drop my last pounds on Thursday night. So I have a few pounds to lose, maybe like 5, 6, hopefully.
Because what you're fighting 160?
Yeah.
And so what is your normal walking around weight?
Normal for me, since I train, like I said, I train so much, and I run I do lots of running already on my own, so I stay pretty lean. So my normal walk around weight is anywhere from 168 to 174.
Okay, so not too far,
not
too far
lots
away.
Of donuts or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's not too far. It's actually not bad at all. I've always typically like to fight around my walking weight too, just because it's a little different than MMA. MMA, obviously, you have the wrestling aspect, and like so you can cut a lot more weight. It seems like that scene, you cut a lot more weight, as in like Muay Thai or kickboxing, you cut some weight, but it's not as drastic, just because you don't have that wrestling aspect to go to deal with, which is nice. So yeah, it makes the process a little less grueling, losing like those big giant weight cuts that some people
it doesn't sound like you're like doing that whole depletion of nutrients and all the stuff that you've worked so hard for, and then losing all that just to make weight, which some people do. Some fighters you see get lethargic, they've depleted, they get their weigh in, and then they get to go and indulge,
which is nice, because for the whole 7 weeks I'm eating pretty well, very healthy though. Like,
so Nic, what does your diet look like as a fighter? Is it more of a protein base? Is it protein, carbs? Do you follow a specific plan?
I follow a specific diet. I don't necessarily follow like a plan, like what I'm eating, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and all that. But I keep my diet pretty tight. Like I guess my diet would be, I guess you could consider it more of like the animal-based diet, carnivore style.
Proteins.
So I eat a lot of meat, a lot of like lean meat, a lot of beef, a lot of fruit. I will eat sweet potatoes every now and then as my carb. Surprisingly, no vegetables. A I tell people that, and they're like, "Whoa, that's so weird. You don't eat vegetables."
Yes.
I don't eat any vegetables.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really your nutrients and your source. I mean, from your meats,
Yeah.
I mean, the carnivore style, it's a big push right now. But I mean,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
because of all the what's in fat.
Yeah.
People think you
And-
get fat because you eat fat. It's really not.
And it really, for my body at least, like it really works well for me, like just the meat and fruit during a like heavy training. I just for the past 7 weeks I've been which is great. I don't have to like starve myself or like, so I feel like it makes my body a lot stronger. I'm able to like get a lot more like lean muscle and not lose muscles from like you said, starving yourself. And but this last week, obviously, I'm cutting portions way down, cutting back on the fruit a lot, just because fruit there are some higher carbs in the fruit and sugars. So I'm cutting mostly this last week. I'm mostly just eating like lean beef, avocados. That's about it.
What about supplements? Do you take any type of supplements?
I mean, vitamins, like I take like a multivitamin. I take like a lot of B12 vitamins and zinc and just nothing.
So you don't get into like the pre-workouts, the
No.
creatines, the protein shakes and all that stuff?
No,
So you don't, like a
no.
typical bodybuilder or, fitness person, they would be heavy into like your
exactly.
proteins and so you basically do it more naturally.
Yeah, I've in the past I have messed around with like the powders and all that, and like I said, my body seemed to just respond best to just whole foods and just the meats, the red meats and the fruits and stuff like that. And I haven't really, even though I'm older, 34. I mean, I haven't really. Like, I don't get, like, the aches and pains, like, maybe, like, a 34-year-old might say they have. Like, I feel like my joints, I have no joint pains. Everything feels great.
Well, I would imagine that, like, Muay Thai, or any type of martial arts, there's a lot of stretching. There's a lot of, stuff that the typical American person, wouldn't do, that you guys, you do a lot of stretching.
Yeah, actually, this fight camp, I've really made it a focus to do a lot of yoga. So I've been going to the in Paso, the Dharma Loft, the Yoga Dharma Loft over there on Spring Street. So I'm actually going to hit yoga after this. I've been trying to hit yoga like 3 times a week, and I really like the hot yoga in the hot room. Like, they get it up to like 95, 100 degrees.
Oh, jeez.
And we do like a lot of stretches, holding poses. And I've really found that it really it's hard. It's like really hard, even like compared to the work that I do at the pit. It's like a different type of hard. Like, it's just different little muscles being used that I don't use like when I'm training over at the gym or doing my workouts at the gym. So it's like all these different stabilizing muscles, all these little tiny muscles that I feel like I'm really like have been building up, and that really helps with like my kicking, getting my leg up to somebody's head.
And this is the first time that you kind of incorporated yoga?
I did yoga maybe 3-4 years ago. Got into yoga, and then I stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I just stopped doing it. But then I started again this fight camp, and I remember why I loved yoga, and I'm gonna try and make it an effort to, even after fight camp, just stick to yoga, and just for recovery purposes, and that I'm getting older, I need to take a little more care for my body, and just take the little extra steps so my body lasts a little longer,
Right. Now, does the instructor know why you're there primarily for? Is your fight? Does she know that you're a fighter?
The owner she's actually sponsored me, but I don't know if the actual instructors know. I kind of keep low key. I don't really say much. I just go in there and do the workout. Kind of get put to shame by all the women and old women in there. I'm like shaking and struggling, and
I think that's probably the biggest. That's for me, it's like, because I think about stretching all the time, and it's like I'm not limber at all, and it's like I'd like to go to a yoga, and you just mentioned yoga, and I'm like going, But it's such a, I would say, like for me,
Yeah.
like I'd be embarrassed to go
No,
there
I
and I'll be
feel
like,
you.
they're like, all right, touch the back of your hand behind your back. It's like, I can't,
It's
like-
crazy to see all those women in there, like how flexible. Like I'm like you said, like I'm half the time I'm having to do like a handicap style pose because I can't even like get my leg to where they get it or get my It's so yeah, it is like coming from like a MMA gym where you're like you're like the tough guy and you can like do all this stuff, and then you go to a yoga gym and you like can't do half the stuff and you're like, oh god, it's kind of embarrassing.
That's why you stay at a low profile,
So yeah, I usually stay low profile. I don't really say much when I go. I just go in there and I just get my stretching in and my workout in, and then I kind of just dip out of there. But yeah,
So you weigh in on Thursday.
weigh in Friday.
You weigh in on Friday, but your fight's not until Saturday.
Yeah.
So what will happen when you weigh in? You're going for 160 or lower, right? Is that the name of the game? So if you're 160.9, you're still good, but if you go over to that 161, now you have a certain amount of time to cut weight to weigh again. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I think they give you like a couple hours. I'm not really sure. I think if you were 161, they might let it slide, but if you were 162, they give you a couple hours to cut the extra weight.
Okay.
And then
So you do that on Friday. You officially weigh in at evening probably time. And so then what happens between Friday when you weigh in to fight time? I mean, are you
so
gloves are off, so to speak? You're eating and
yeah. So weigh-ins are actually going to be in the morning at 10:30. So I'll do my last weight cut Thursday night. Drive out there Friday morning, get weighed in, get that face off in, look into my opponent's eyes, get all that good business in, see what he's about.
do you know who it is?
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to him or?
No, I've not talked to him. He doesn't have. I think he's 2-0, so he's had 2 fights. Yeah, I've not really. I've seen a little bit of footage on him, not much. He seems like a kind of a wilder guy, not as maybe it's lack of experience.
Younger?
Younger, probably for sure.
Yeah.
It's not very often I fight someone older than me, like except for the last time. Yeah. So I plan on being the one with more experience. I'm definitely more cardio, more grit. So yeah, I plan on putting a show with this guy. But yeah, back to the weigh-ins. We'll go weigh in, rehydrate, and just eat healthy. Just keep the fuel clean. Get some good meat in, get some good fruit in, get some good carbs in. So I won't like necessarily splurge quite yet. That will be for after the fight.
That's after the W.
Yeah, that's after the W.
What's going to be your first meal? What's the first meal go to after the fight's over?
Man, that's a hard one. Like my Instagram algorithm has like changed drastically from just like fighting to just only food now and desserts. Like I don't even know what is
Why?
happening.
Because you're looking them up?
It must be because I'm looking. It's like literally like everything, like cinnamon roll, cookies, ice cream, pizza. Man,
all the stuff you can't have.
Like I hope I can find like a good like buffet where there's like a little bit of everything. That's my main goal. But I guess if I were gonna stick to one thing, I'd probably be some tacos, some
Tacos,
some ceviche, some just I don't know, just I'd love a hamburger right now, a pizza too. So I need a buffet because I need a little bit of all everything.
Yeah, I know where you're going with all that stuff. So I'm not gonna stay on the food subject right now because you'll eat yourself inside out. From wanting the food that you're talking about going.
Yeah,
right
definitely.
Now.
I actually had a dream last night that I was eating a barbecue bacon cheeseburger, and like it was so realistic that I could taste the barbecue sauce, and I almost thought that I was actually eating it, and then I like was getting paranoid in my dream. It's like, oh shit, you're not supposed to eat right now. You haven't had the fight. But then I woke up and I was like, oh, thank God, I didn't actually eat a hamburger.
So Nick, you have a lot of followers. You have some sponsors. You want to chat about some of the sponsors you have real quick?
Yeah, a few that come to the top of my mind. the Dharma Loft Studio, the yoga gym that I've been going to. I love their yoga. I love their hot yoga. I love their teaching style. My buddy, Big Buddha Bites, he runs a small CBD dog treat company. He's really been helping me out this camp. He's going to be in my corner for this one, along with Castle. But yeah, he's been really helping me this camp with just extra mitt work and just extra training. And then my wife, the Visual Knockout, obviously I get all the dope pictures for free. Video
action
footage,
shots.
yeah, action shots, video footage. So I get like that memory, the memories of all the fights that I've done. Yeah, there's so many.
And you'll have a bunch of people that will go over there with you too, right? So you'll have a pretty good audience,
Yeah.
there at the fights, right?
Yeah, I've been selling quite a few tickets. Should be a good showing. Good show of fans. I believe the guy I'm fighting, he's from that area, so I'd imagine that he'll have a little more people in the crowd, but that doesn't really bother me. So, yeah, whoever comes out, I'm happy for. But like I said, I wouldn't mind fighting with nobody there. So it's like whoever goes chooses
It's for
to
the
go.
love of it.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me either way of who's there, who's not there. So
Now, will you have to take some time off before you start looking towards another fight, or does the fights come to you? Do you go to the fight? How does a fight play out?
I mean, it all depends on what happens, but yeah, I plan on hopefully getting another fight by maybe May or June. I'm really hoping they announce when the next Rumble in the Jungle is going to be in Mexico, because like I said, that's like what I'd love to fight, who I'd love to fight for next, Rumble in the Jungle. Just because that whole experience was so awesome, and I'd just love to get down there again. But yeah, I'd like I said, I want to get as many fights as I can in while I can. So I'm hoping to at least get 2 more this year, and this will be my 3rd fight in 8 months. So I hope to get a couple more in before the year's over. And yeah.
Awesome. And you're always taking in more sponsors, right?
Yeah.
For your fight camps and stuff like that. Helps you kind of get through there and takes care of some of the other stuff that that you're lacking during that 8-week period of time.
Exactly. Yeah. For the next fight, probably do some T-shirts again. Maybe brainstorm some different ideas for as far as sponsorships and apparel or merchandise or whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, right on, Nick. Well, hey, good luck this weekend.
Cool. Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
it was a pleasure having you on and kind of following this journey of, through the fight mind, because it's always interesting to find out, where somebody's mind is, with this type of, because obviously I don't do any of that stuff. You only see it, at UFC and stuff like that. And you see it from a different perspective, but yet you're living through that perspective and that dream. And, whether it's it's a really passionate hobby or it's something that you want to go further into, you're living it, so you're essentially living your dream and what you want to do. So good luck this weekend. Hopefully I hear back and we have a W, and
Yeah.
I'll be curious to find out if you found that buffet or not. That's going to be the biggest question on Saturday night.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If not, watch out, Fresno. I'm coming all the way down to Fresno to eat all the food.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend, man. I appreciate you coming on and sharing us your journey.
Yeah, no problem.
So, well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure if you guys want to sponsor this kid, these guys at MMA Pit North, they got all kinds of fighters going through the program. It's a great program. Nick's doing the nature schooling that the kids can go to and be a part of what's happening here on the Central Coast as well. But if you guys want to look out and do some sponsoring and being a part of the journey with these guys, you can reach out to us and you can reach out to Nick. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Custom, MGP Coatings, North County Junk Removal, The Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Suprema Meat Markets. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, it's Alex with Suprema Meat Market. We are a Mexican meat market with a taqueria. Come enjoy our high-quality cuts and meats. We offer choice and prime Harris Ranch beef, as well as chicken, seafood, and pork items. In the taqueria, all of our tacos come with handmade tortillas. We also offer specialty items like chilaquiles and chile rellenos. Come enjoy Taco Tuesday with Suprema. We offer our tacos at $1.99 each. Suprema Meat Market is located at 8950 Montecito Avenue in Atascadero.
Are you tired of looking at that worn-out concrete garage floor, patio, or porch? Look no further than MGP Coatings, where customer service reigns supreme. Our team goes above and beyond to ensure your satisfaction every step of the way. Before we even start coating, we meticulously repair your concrete, ensuring a flawless finish that lasts. And here's the best part. Our Pentec coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy, so they won't chip or peel, making maintenance a breeze. Plus, they come with a limited lifetime warranty. Call us today at 805-952-5301 or check out our Facebook and Instagram and experience the MGP coating difference. Don't wait. Transform your garage, patio, porch, or driveway and become a part of the MGP coating family.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Hi, this is Omid
and Deanna
at North County Junk Removal. We are a business known for helping our neighbors and our community.
Let us help you save money and get rid of any unwanted items.
And rest assured that our professional team adheres to global standards of safety and recycling. We are fully licensed and insured for your peace of mind.
We are locally owned and operated, and we look forward to helping you with all your junk removal needs.
Please call us at 805-769-6966.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.